Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call meeting to order of the Jacksonville Tourism Development Authority. Glad to see the folks we got here and welcome the people on G10. Hello, Susan. First order of business is we're going to have the adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our second order of business is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, March 30th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, okay, good. So we're going to move on to our FY 2023-24 budget public hearing and possible adoption. Do we recess? We'll go ahead and recess. Oh, we'll have a briefing? Okay.
Good afternoon. At this time, the TDA is required to hold its annual public hearing on the budget. If you recall, we set our estimate for the occupancy tax at $1.1 million for the year, with a total revenue of $1.48 million. Using appropriated fund balance, we budgeted we balanced the budget with $265,483 of appropriated fund balance. And then the expenditures are divided into three broad categories, which are required by legislation: administration, promotion, and tourism promotion and tourism related. And for administration, we budgeted $41,050 in expenditures, promotion $656,714, and then tourism related $782,580 for a total of $1,480,344. And at this time, it would be appropriate to recess the meeting and hold the public hearing.
All right, we'll recess the regular meeting and open the public hearing to anyone here that would like to comment.
Mr. Chairman, we don't have anyone other than staff here this afternoon, so I think,
I have one lady here.
oh, I'm sorry, I believe she's here for the Sturgeon City report. But if you would like to come and comment, you're more than welcome to.
That's okay. And we'll close the hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
Okay,
So
as there were no speakers for the public hearing, it would now be appropriate to make a motion to adopt the budget at this time.
All right,
So moved.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. We got that job done. Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you.
That's great. All right, so number 2 today is our spending plan and possible approval. Anthony? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, directors, and thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon on business of the Tourism Development Authority. Big check mark that we just made here a few minutes ago in adopting the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. But as you're aware, we also approve, we don't necessarily adopt, but we approve a complementary spending plan which helps allocate those three broad categories of funds to specific initiatives. Over the past several months, we've worked with the individual subcommittees to develop this spending plan, so I'm not going to go over it in intimate detail, but certainly if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. But for the folks at home and the folks that are here, the spending plan is essentially our line item budget guidance. And we tend to amend it from meeting to meeting depending on whatever needs arise throughout the year. It does provide structure for execution, framework to award our grants, which we've actually increased the number of grant awards this year, which is a very good thing. And then, of course, this is also how we allocate our nonprofit funds for Sturgeon City and our other partners. So just a few highlights here. One of the biggest things, and again, thank you for your support in this, we have been able to hire a tourism coordinator, and she will be starting with us next week. And as soon as she's on board, we'll be, getting her to, we'll do an orientation and get her to know each one of you and, of course, our processes. From the events perspective, we're increasing the number from 11 to 12 this year. And we're also looking to do a complete revamp of the visitor's guide. We talked about that, I believe, at the last meeting, but that is a big initiative that we work hand in hand with Onslow County Tourism on. Nonprofit support, as I mentioned, this includes Sturgeon City, the Sports Commission, and the Carolina Museum of the Marine this year. And then one neat thing that Susan Baptist is going to talk to you about here in just a few minutes are our initiatives for our trails and greenways, as well as our blueways, which is a new concept, and it's basically a paddle trail. You know, given the fact that we're a river city, you know, this is a great initiative to provide amenities for folks who are traveling to our area. And as you see on the screen there, 2023 is the year of the trail for North Carolina, so good timing there as well. So with that, the spending plan was included in your agenda package. And again, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those, but at this time, we'd certainly appreciate approval of that plan if you see fit.
Just a quick question, the new hire, where would I find that? Under administration?
If you look, so first page, the very top, the first block is our
Salaries and
revenue.
benefits.
And then the second one is salaries and benefits.
And where does that, what broad category would that come under? It's not,
That funding came out of promotions.
okay.
We did not allocate
Get
any
that to
tourism
admin?
related. I'm sorry?
You didn't allocate that to admin, that's actually a separate line item there.
Yes, we cannot allocate that to admin. There are only certain things that we can
Okay.
allocate to that line item.
Okay.
So this was allocated straight to the tourism, or the promotions.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Just a quick comment and say I really appreciate the level of information that you provided us. It's
Thank you.
It's helpful to understand.
Well, and we appreciate your support. You're giving us authorization to do a lot of really great things for the community next year.
Well, and it's very, other than hiding the salary on me, which you didn't. Which you didn't. 2 pages, and it's right there. It's very succinct, and it's easy to follow, and it shows exactly what we're about. So thank you.
That's mainly for my simple mind, but yes, it's also so that everybody else can track as well.
It's working for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll look for a motion on the spending plan approval.
So moved.
Susan,
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good, great. And so I guess you'll stay right there, Anthony, explain to us the spending plan modification now.
I mentioned before, it's become customary for us to evolve the spending plan from meeting to meeting based upon the initiatives that pop up in between meetings, things that we didn't foresee when we adopted the original budget, and really just to adapt to the cost of things as it evolves throughout the year. It's been quite interesting the past couple years with inflation. So one of the things that we would like for the directors to consider this afternoon is to pretty substantially amend the spending plan, because this is our last opportunity to do so before we go into fiscal year 24. So included in your agenda package is a summary of several things that we would like to embark on and get money encumbered for before we go into fiscal 24, essentially use the resources that we already have available rather than asking for more. The first is a destination brand study, which I can tell you that Susan Dozier and Teresa Beecham are very excited about. This is part of our research data process. It's an effort to give us an understanding of where we are within our market, where we can improve, and gives us a strategy for becoming a better destination for tourists in general. $21,000 for that, and that I believe, let's see, that is promotions money. So that does not come out of tourism related. Same thing with the Summer Latin Festival. This is something that we talked about several months ago, and basically the folks from OLA, a local Latino nonprofit, came and talked to us about an idea for this festival We basically gave them some homework and some guidance and told them to, here's how you get started. Come back to us in a while and let's check your progress. Well, they came back to us a couple weeks ago and they've made a lot of progress. And in fact, they're planning to hold an event in July at the Commons. And it seems like it's pulling together well and will be a great thing for the community. So what we would like to do is allocate $5,000 like we have to the various other cultural events to help with promotions. And again, that is a promotional allocation. The 400-acre master plan, this is super exciting. The goal here would be for us to partner 50-50 with the city on the cost for master planning that large property in regards to, sports, tourism, recreation, all of that wonderful stuff. That would be a tourism-related expense. And then the same thing with the baseball/event equipment, $150,000. We had the opportunity to bring minor league baseball to Jacksonville. Hopefully we're able to execute on that. And with this funding, what we would do is purchase a set of bleachers to add capacity to the stadium, as well as to purchase a PA system that will help, of course, broadcast to the audience. But I think the most important thing there is that all of those are kind of modular add-ons to where we would play baseball, which is Jack Amyette. So they're not hard installed. If we need to pick those things up and use them in other places for our other events, that is certainly a possibility. So again, this is our last opportunity to take advantage of the fiscal 23 funding. We'd certainly appreciate your consideration and approval of this adjustment, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
So the PA system would be mobile of
Yes.
sorts? Okay. And obviously, this is still contingent on the final approval of the council to the minor league.
We still have a little bit of time
Right,
before
okay.
the end of the fiscal year, but if we do not appropriate the funding now, then we won't be able to make the purchase.
Right.
If things fall apart, which I certainly hope they do not, then we just won't proceed with the expenditure. And then that funding will roll over into fund balance.
Approximately how many will the bleachers seat?
So in total, we're shooting for around 850 to 900 people. And that would be a revenue positive venture for the folks who want to bring the team to town.
Any other questions? No? All right. So we're looking for a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the modifications to the spending plan.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Got that taken care of. And so now we can move on to our presentation items, and we're going to begin with is it Lisa? All right.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm just going to quickly introduce myself and go over the overview. And I'm Lisa Miravito. I'm the executive director for Sturgeon City. I came in about September. The reason why I love it so much, I fell in love with it for my son. Not so much for y'all, but for the audience. I'm going to familiarize y'all with Sturgeon City. Just a little brief background. So Sturgeon City, at its base, it's a complex thing, but what we do is we provide STEM and science environmental education for students, mainly youth. And there's a need for us to provide STEM in this area due to cybersecurity and different jobs and economic outlook and stuff. And it also hands-on learning that we provide. We don't have books, we don't have paperwork. We're straight up experiments after experiments after experiments and hands-on learning. And having that curriculum supplement school learning enhances the students' abilities. So the culture of Sturgeon City, obviously most of y'all know, we're a closed wastewater treatment plant that you all kept sound for us, that we have the clarifiers and the biotower and the digesters, and we're able to take pretty much every single person that comes to Sturgeon City on a wetland walk, and we tell them the history about Sturgeon City, of how the river was not doing so great and how the city stepped up and took a hold of it, and now it's fishable and it's beautiful and it's recreational. The clarifiers have koi fish and catfish that are taken care of by stormwater, and the kids love seeing them get fed. It is painted, or it is dyed green because the ospreys shoot down from the bio tower, so you don't get to see them until we feed them. But that's kind of a little behind the scenes, and so from that, you guys never wanted to lose the mission of environmental education. So, Sturgeon City's programs. We have lots of programs these days. We have homeschool science, which we teach every single week. Weekly will next be Thursdays starting in the fall. From 12 to 3, we teach 4 to 17-year-olds homeschool science so that their parents don't have to teach it and they can write it in that it's taught. Little Learners is our preschool. Teen Science Cafe is our free program for teens to come eat pizza and learn from science professionals. Program de Ciencia para Familias en Español is a family Spanish program spoken in Spanish and taught in Spanish. That's free as well. We have Sensory Science for our autistic and neurodiversity people that learn in different ways and need sensory sensitive. We have schools out, so when Montessori or Onslow schools are out, most of the time we have our doors open unless it's a federal holiday. Camp Sturgeon, and it has spring break and summer camps. We're about to kick off on June 12th, 10 weeks of summer camp. We are pretty much sold out too. And then we are starting an after hours program at Sturgeon City so that we can invite some adults to us, not just kids. And then we have outreach and field trips. So with that, the new programs that we were able to bring on has really represented us well with the Spanish program, the sensory science program, and the adults programs. But not only that, we're able to do free outreach. So every single Onslow County elementary school will receive 1 grade level of going through our planetarium. So they will all get that. Or they will get science stations if their auditorium's not big enough, because it is pretty big, as you can see. So Sturgeon City, we actually have 10 events at Sturgeon City that are our events, our owned events, which is family bingo. We had about 225, 250 people there for that. We started this year a homeschool and private school science fair to coincide with Onslow County schools. So we'll actually be starting it in the fall, and next year it'll be in January, so that the children that are not within Onslow County schools can go on to regional and state at the exact same time. Then we have Earth Day that I hope you guys are well aware of. Sipping for Science is like a new signature event. Nature Art is children and adults are doing art to show appreciation and love for the nature in Onslow County. We have Lego Tournament that's going to be a speed building challenge, a summer bash with a band, National Cleanup Day, Spooktacular where we do science stations, Jolly Jamboree where we do science stations, and then Let It Snow shows our planetarium shows. That is a Christmas sing-along, and we actually have people that drive here. We have a few families that this past December came from New Bern and Emerald Isle and stuff like that and found us on social media, and so they drove in, took lunch, and had some planetarium shows with us. It's only $5 per person, and as long as we're in the building, we'll throw it up. So it takes about half an hour to blow up, so we don't throw it up that quick. The impact of last year, we had 9,000 students, a little over 9,000 students go through us for 230 programs, and that's for the fiscal year of July 1 to June 30. We had over 60 field trips and outreach programs, more than 1,000 attendees to the planetarium shows, and then our public events brought in 1,500 as well. This is from over the years, so you guys can see where we started the building, but COVID happened in 2019, and then we are at our peak right now with over 13,500 children served this year. So we're going well. So the impact so far is we've hosted 266 mission-based programs, so our science and STEM and environmental education programs. Of those 266, 106 of them are field trips and outreach, which we've served over 67,000 participants, students, and with 1,500 of them coming from out of county. So we've had Pender here, Duplin, Carteret, Craven, Lenoir, and I think New Hanover, and then lots of base. And then this is the fourth summer that, this summer we've added a fourth camp. Normally we've only done 3 camps. This summer we've added 4 camps. And we are very long waiting list for all of them. So we could easily add another one probably. To get into the rentals, last year's rentals, we had 71 events with 8,200 event attendees and 240 hotel nights generated. So far this year, we've had 94 events with 13,748 participants, 564 overnight stays. All of our Saturdays that are available to rent are booked until 2022. We have a couple bookings for 2025 already, and we've donated many rentals, not on our peak time, to other community, civic, and education partners. And in addition to that, we take 30% off on Tuesdays and Thursdays for nonprofits, so that we're nonprofits, so we appreciate other nonprofits. And so just to go over it quickly, in 328 fiscal business days, or not even business days, all days, we have had 266 programs, 94 rentals for a total of 360 things happening at our building. We are very busy, we are loving it, and I think the trajectory that you guys foresaw in us is happening. And so I'm very proud of everything that we've done there and what it's become and how beautiful it is. Do y'all have any questions?
The 4th summer camp was an age group, right?
So what we did is we actually broke the age groups smaller. So it used to be K through 2, 3 through 5, and then 6, 7, and 8. And now it's kindergarten, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5, 6, 7. So because 1, 2, 3, and 4, we could probably have 3 of them in just that age group alone. The kindergarten is not filling up as quickly as we thought, but it's actually incoming kindergartners, so it's 4 and 5-year-olds, or brand new 5-year-olds. But first grade and second grade, we opened this in January. We're getting calls in November and December of when are we going to open the registration. And we had over $5,000 in scholarship money that sold out within a day. So, and that's us giving away 2 free weeks of camp to those children that applied.
Very nice.
That is great. Okay, wow. Well, Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank
I think
you.
you're doing a great job, and I want to say special thanks to Don Herring and Mary Ann Williams for their unwavering support
Yes.
and dedication and the time they put in to make Sturgeon the success it is.
Yes, thank
I
you.
appreciate it. All right, so now we're going to hear from Susan, our own Susan.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I'm going to follow beautifully her presentation on the water in just a minute, but before I do that, I want to give you an update on our Jamboree. As you know, you do support our Jamboree event. I cannot say how much I appreciate you supporting us in our efforts to provide good quality programs and events to our citizens. There are many happy kids in these photos, so thank you to everybody that helps with that. But we had a beautiful day. Weather was on our side, and people came out for it. So we had lots of great events. The event, cumulatively, we're talking lots of food trucks, a whole lineup of events and entertainment, amusements, a lot of vendors, a lot of things going on for families to enjoy free of charge. One thing I'll also add on is that we had 2 weekends of sporting events. Obviously, we want to support our local economy with those sporting events, so we had 40 teams the weekend before for the older boys and girls, and then the weekend of, we had another 40 teams playing throughout the weekend, and then we also sponsored a softball tournament. So this day right here, as you can see, everything from the petting zoo to the pony rides to the food in the background, entertainment, in addition to the sporting events. So anybody that came to visit for those sporting events really got a great opportunity to entertain their entire family, which just meant that they were going to bring a little more of their family to come to Jacksonville. So it was a really nice opportunity for everybody. We are working on our after action, so you'll see those final numbers and when we present it to Anthony and crew, but we really just appreciate your support. It was a great day. It was a great weekend for us. Any questions on that?
That express looked phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It was a great day.
There wasn't a flat spot in the Commons that did not have a car on it
There
for
was not.
hours, I tell you.
It was packed, and it's funny because Mr. Bittner he lives in the area, and he's always like tracking he said, it was busy because I could tell by the parking, and I said, yes, sir. They took every blade of grass there was available, so we don't always have the best method of tracking how many people come out, but parking is always a good indicator. Whatever.
Nice to have that relatively new parking area too, and an extra.
Yeah.
Where would we be without it?
Mr. Warden, I can't even remember the days when we didn't have it, but it's a blessing to have that park and ride, there's no doubt. So absolutely, it is wonderful. Okay, so the Blue Ways update, very nice follow-up from her lovely environmental education, because I couldn't agree more. We have some beautiful waterways here in Jacksonville, and we certainly want to take advantage of that. This is a great opportunity on the Year of the Trail. So we have wonderful greenways, all of our trails. We've done a great job with that, but we want to also emphasize that there's other ways for people to enjoy outdoor education or recreation opportunities. So the whole goal with the Blue Ways Trail is to increase the awareness. We have wonderful waterfront access here in Jacksonville, and so we want to be able to provide that access points and an opportunity for people to enjoy the outdoor recreation. We want to tag team on environmental awareness and education of local waterways. I'm a firm believer in the stewardship. If you're out enjoying outdoor nature, you might not throw your trash out, but you might also pick some trash up. So we always want to advocate for our clean spaces, clean greenways, clean waterways, and certainly let people know that we want to be good stewards of everything that we have here in Jacksonville and beyond. And then obviously I want people to recreate. I want them outside. I want them walking, riding, biking, paddling, stand up, whatever it is that they're doing. I certainly would much rather have them taking advantage of the outdoors and our beautiful greenways that we have here in Jacksonville, as opposed to maybe watching TV and catching up on the latest show. So we actually have done some research on this. We have some great partners. We worked with, obviously within the city departments, we have some really qualified people. Water quality was at the table from the very get-go. We certainly want them to give us their input and valued expertise when it comes to our waterways. Obviously, Anthony's crew and all the folks at Transit were vital in getting this up and running as far as what this is going to look like for our community. And then, of course, our media folks, that you can't do anything and take good pictures and get things rolled out without them. So we were all working together. We did work with the MCCS folks as well, because we want to acknowledge that they are part of the linkage when it comes to our waterways. And then obviously we have your support in moving forward with this wonderful opportunity. So we did do a boat ride along Wilson Bay, and so we were really wanting to see what does this look like from a user standpoint. So if maybe you're not on a kayak, but we wanted to make sure that we know what we are going to put out to our citizens. So we did do a boat ride, and several of us were part of that. And then we also did a kayak trip. MCCS was kind enough to donate kayaks to a large crew of us that we launched from Northeast Creek Park, and we were able to go kayak. It's a tough day to work here, but you got to do research and have that kind of day for you. But we were very fortunate to have beautiful days on both. But look at this picture right here. This is a drone shot, and if people don't know what a beautiful city we have, this is a great opportunity to showcase that. So I'm just going to show you some pictures, and then we will also show you a fantastic map that we've developed for this project. So yeah, here we go. So this is in the Wilson Bay section if you were leaving from like the marina.
Has that boat been abandoned? Wasn't that abandoned?
It has
boat?
been abandoned. I think this is an older picture, and I think it's gone by now.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's gone. But it's impactful. It's pretty neat. I remember going kayaking when it was still there, and we were just like, wow, look at this boat. Nature. Oh, there's our
dogs.
marina downtown. Oh, kayaking people, that might be some of us. I think Stephanie might have turned her head for that picture. But several of us were there, and it was really, really special to kayak from Northeast Creek Park. I don't know how many people, know that we have so many wonderful access points, and that, again, the linkage is what you're going to see in a minute, and we're really proud to be able to provide that for our folks. And then father and son fishing while we were out. This is all from Northeast Creek Park. and a beautiful closing sunset picture. So basically what we did on both of those trips is we did take all of our GPS location points. Stephanie did a great job of making sure we had the technology so that when you see the map in a minute, those are actual points, and we were able to mark the distance. So it's a great opportunity for people to say, well, how far is it? What am I actually getting myself into? And that's what this is. We also are able to point out all of the kayak and paddleboard launches, as well as points of interest and along the routes. I learned a lot that day. Having water quality with us was really informational when we talk about oyster highways and some of the nature that we have out on our waterways. It was really informative, and that just ties us back into that environmental education and awareness of what we have right here in our back door. And then we have some wonderful routes. So this is where Lisa is going to do her magic because I don't have access, but we have a lady, and she's leaving Anthony, but we have a very talented lady, Laura, who is a whiz with this map. And this is a map that's interactive. So what she has done is she's been able to show everybody so you can click on it. And then with each of these clicks, you'll see this is from the landing. She's got a picture and a description. And then, for example, there's another one. She's just so we wanted to make sure that people knew that there were lots of opportunities for kayaks. You can leave from the marina and go up. You can leave from the landing and go down. There's so many wonderful places that you can go, and then we have all these wonderful pictures. So if I'm just a beginner kayaker, I can go to this map and say, oh my gosh, this is a short little, that's a doable route. I should be able to do that. I see a picture, I feel more comfortable with it, and then you go on about your way. Or you might say, I want a little bit more of a challenge. If you look here to the left, you can see that there are all of these colors and routes kind of mapped out for you. So we have all of the distances, and you can take what level of comfort you have for the route that you want to go.
Lisa, can you select one of the routes again, please? So yes, if you could just hold it right there, please. One other thing to add, Susan, if you don't mind. We want people to be cautious about their capability. Okay, it's kind of like riding on the road too versus riding on the greenway. You can see where it says intermediate there. You know, we want to give people an understanding of the relative difficulty of what they're embarking upon before they do it. And it was interesting to hear the feedback from Susan and Stephanie and others about how the water changes very significantly out there depending on where you are, which helps to change the difficulty of the trip that you're going to make. So we're trying to make it as user-friendly and as safe as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a tie-in to the county? Doesn't the county have a couple of kayak launchings up the New River up towards Richlands?
Yes, sir. So at the very top of this map, where you see Oakhurst Landing and Nature Trail,
Okay.
if you take that and go all the way up, it does link into what you just referred to. So they have a map that comes all the way down to that point, and then this is going to carry on from that point. So it's a great connectivity, even from a larger standpoint, from Richlands all the way down. But yes, sir, theirs comes all the way down to that Oakhurst landing. And I think they might even go a little bit farther, but that's where theirs stops, and that's where we're going to pick up. So then you can see over here, Northeast Creek Park on the far right, that's where we kayaked from. And it was a wonderful opportunity to just see what it looks like. It was, you know, like Anthony said, it was not very difficult. It was extremely doable. And it's just another way for us to share what access points people have. So if you're not a boater and you want to kayak, by all means, you certainly have those. It was really neat to kayak underneath that bridge too. While somebody that drives it multiple times a day, I was able to, okay. So yeah, this is the map. It's going to go live in just a few weeks. We're going to finalize a few more things. I think that's where I'm headed to in my next slide. So any questions before we move on to and this is what the paper copy is going to look like. So what you have on this screen is hard copies that we are going to certainly be able to give to people. So whether you are picking up something or you just want to look at it, that's an option too. So we'll have it on both platforms.
I noticed in this month's of Our State Magazine, Susan, if you're listening, Our State Magazine had a Blue Way Huggins Trail off of Hammocks Beach was a kayak trail around Huggins Island, which I thought was kind of kind of neat. So we've got another thing that Susan and Teresa can put out there and maybe get some folks to come travel our blueways.
Absolutely. Susan is all over it. She does a great job, and she's been in the loop with this project, so make no mistake, she's going to maximize this opportunity and share it with the world, so yes.
I knew she would.
When we briefed her on this yesterday, she could hardly contain herself.
She's ready to go.
So, this is just another tool on the tool belt for
Yeah.
us to attract people and give them wonderful things to do while they're here.
So moving forward, I think we're pretty firm on the map. We're pretty firm on what we've done thus far. Our next steps are going to be some signage. We want people to know where they're able to access, and maybe some points of interest, so we're going to be working on that. We are also going to be working on kayak rentals. I'm doing some research on an opportunity that people will be able to go to, say, the marina and do a self-serve kayak, a kiosk sort of thing. More to come on that. But we certainly want to share what these resources are around the state and around our area, so that people can come to our area and say, okay, well, let's see what Jacksonville has. We don't have to necessarily go to Swansboro. If they don't want to, they can kayak right here and take advantage of that. And then again, going back to that educational awareness, we always want to make sure that people know that we care about our waterways, we care about our open space, we care about our greenways, and that doing this, it makes people a steward of those properties. And I believe firmly that by sharing our resources, people are going to have that onus and say, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm going to tell my friends about this. Next time my family comes into town, we're going to go do this. So those are our next steps. That's it for me.
That gets added to what, the Visit Jacksonville website that y'all have got developed and got out there?
It will be on the TDA's webpage and the city's webpage, and anyone else who wants to carry it as well. There's also a statewide, it's actually a nationwide
It's a large, the trail.
paddle trail website.
Paddle trail, we're linking in to a national paddle resource website, so that if you're going to go visit California next week, you can actually go to the website, drill down to the city, drill down to the routes, and drill down all the way to where you can get a kayak. It's going to be the same for us. So if there's somebody coming to visit, they go to the website, which is across the board, all over the nation. They can drill down to Jacksonville, drill down to where they're going to be, drill down to the marina, and they'll see exactly what you saw here. So it's going to be really nice connectivity. You know, it's a user group of people that are very good advocates for the sport, or for the resource.
And truly, this is just the beginning. One of the things that we've talked about is, expanding it up towards where the 400 acres is. At some point in the future, that's going to be a huge amenity for folks to want to go paddle and see. And then the directors, Mr. Warden, you just brought up the connectivity with the county. And then, of course, clearly, the linkage that we've made today is the environmental education piece. So I could fully see it growing from here, working with our partners like Sturgeon City and the county and others to make this thing grow. But in the near future, we will be talking to you about kayak vending machines. It's probably difficult to conceptualize right now, but there is such a thing. And it's one of those things that we could possibly partner with the city on to make this a more successful venture. Because I don't know if you've ever hauled around a canoe or a kayak. It's not the funnest thing to do, especially when you're traveling out of town. But it's a good opportunity.
Very exciting.
So Susan, was this your idea, this whole thing?
Well, I mean, I think the Year of the Trail was a great opportunity, but I've known about Blueways trails for a while. We had this concept even with Dr. Woodruff a couple of years ago, and trying to come up with the Blueways. His idea was a Blueways kayak somewhere, and then run a bike somewhere, and then loop back around and walk somewhere. So that was an idea that we had a couple years ago. So, but I love it. That's what I do. I love it.
Well,
So.
thanks a lot.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Really good. Okay, so within our meeting, we've got a written report from the Tourism-Related Committee and the Promotions Committee. We're going to have a hoteliers update and the marketing event. So who's doing our hotelier? Chris?
Yeah, just really briefly, I can tell you from the April Jacksonville Star Report from Smith Travel Research, the Jacksonville market experienced a 6.8% increase year over year in April for occupancy. Year to date, the Jacksonville market has experienced a 3.8% increase in occupancy. There is a new hotel that opened actually
last week.
May 16th. My Place, which contributes 85 hotel rooms to the Jacksonville market. Interesting fact, this hotel is operated and managed by Cornerstone Hospitality, and their president and CEO, Kimberly Christner, is a local. So she's from Topsail. And I guess the last thing I have to add is Regina Trichet, our local waffle lady, will be flying to Los Angeles in the next couple of weeks to film a commercial with Paris Hilton for the launch of a new waffle within the Hampton brand. So,
Wow.
So that's exciting.
Wow.
Going nationwide.
Right.
Okay.
Does the city need any representation at this,
Listen, we're just
meeting
going
with
to
Paris Hilton or anything? I mean,
we're just going to tell Regina to bring Paris back for the Blue Ways and then go from there.
So we're going to hear from Susan next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, Susan, you're here.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. They were right. I am very excited about the opportunities our Blue Ways represent. Teresa is on vacation, and I bring you greetings from her. She's also excited about that. We have a lot of opportunity, and I thank Susan Baptist and her whole team, the city team, for their leadership on that. We've had some great things going on with our International Food Trail, and I think they're going to pop up a sign. At the end of March, we had Heidi Bellato join us, and I came down too. We spent 4 days. We ate, I think, at 28 different restaurants during that time, and we were vetting new additions for our International Food Trail. And so Heidi has narrowed those down. She's identified some places that we might want to add. There are all kinds of other people we met with and talked with from a food perspective here in Jacksonville. We met the folks at Southern Breeze Seafood. You see John Millette there on the right. If you haven't been out to Southern Breeze Seafood, it is an incredible seafood company. And one of the things that we're most excited is they're also working with Tidewater Grain to do a very interesting gluten-free seafood and chicken breader. And it's fabulous. I mean, just really, really great. Tidewater Grain is a heritage rice grain only grown here in North Carolina. I think they're going to get some great statewide recognition because of that. So we've got our eye on them. So pop by and you can have some great food from their food truck, which also goes to different places across. So we did a lot of work on the food trail. We do plan to announce the new additions. We're in touch with those folks and contacting them, making sure we've got everything accurate right now. And we hope to launch that after Memorial Day. And we'll also be doing a press release shortly after that launch and announcement. On the media side, next slide, I've got 2 fun media hits to tell you about. Sometimes new media outlets, their budgets fluctuate a lot. And so we have the opportunity, Cardinal and Pine is ramping back up some of their leisure coverage. It's a statewide outlet, about 19,000 visits to their site. And they included Lejeune Memorial Gardens in a big statewide roundup of gorgeous botanical gardens across the state. So we were super happy to get that. Next slide, we also had a placement just last week with Cardinal and Pine, and they talked about the year of the trail, but then they also said there's all kinds of other trails that are not muscle powered, and our International Food Trail was listed in that story with 16 trails across the state. We were one of the 16. One of the things that's exciting about this story and the other one is that all the different local municipalities that have things in these stories are sharing them on social, then we're sharing it on social. So we reach literally a true statewide audience and we get a lot of traction on those pieces. Moving right along, we had an exceptional opportunity last week. We were in Jacksonville. We were all over Jacksonville. I tell you, even rain or shine, we were out there. I had 6 media guests that were just absolutely exceptional. Des from my team, DK Communications Group, he kind of doubled as media and PR. We had 2 writers from Our State magazine. We have freelancers who have contributed to Business North Carolina, a person who's just signed a contract for new video content with NC Weekend, AAA Go, which is one of the largest print magazines. It is the largest print magazine circulation in North Carolina. Cardinal and Pine, a lot of outlets here you see. We gathered, our first stop was at West Indian Kitchen with the charming Mama and William Stridiron, who own that place. They are a food truck that has been running all over, has been at Camp Lejeune for a long time, and this is their first bricks and mortars place. I encourage you to stop by. They're great. So we were all over Jacksonville, even in the rain, and things worked out really well. So we had a great trip, and I'll be following up and working with these writers on their opportunities to cover our destination after that. I wanted to show you a few pieces of the social that they produced and shared while they were there. This is from Craving Carolina. She's from the Triangle, a great social feed to follow. You'll see kind of the variety of things that she did. You'll see everything from sushi. You'll see Mama from West Indian Kitchen. We put little vials of the Walton's Distillery moonshine that they give into our gift bags. We also took advantage at El Cerro Tacos. Their cocktails there are fantastic. And so there's actually a flashing light bulb. These are still shots. I couldn't do the video, but a flashing like ice cube in those drinks. So a lot of great response, enthusiastic things. The next slide, you'll also see that the freelancer who wrote those Cardinal and Pine stories finally got to see Lejeune Memorial Gardens in person and did a darling post about, I've finally seen this place for myself. A lot of the writers were very impressed with our military history and how it makes such a difference. One writer actually was stationed here with her family, with her dad, twice. And she looked at me right before she left and she said, "You made me see Jacksonville in a different light." And I'm so grateful. So that's really cool. And you'll see here Vanessa's post. These are both from one of our restaurants here, Hakata. And she was talking about how many of these places have a tie to the military. Some are veteran owned, and what an incredible experience it is. And then in her last sentence was talking about how every guest is welcome. And so I don't think you can get a better benediction to a social post than saying how welcoming your destination is. And so I was really proud. I didn't tell her to say that. She said that on her own. So cool observations there. I will say our social media continues to grow. Having these writers and some of our influencers here over the last week gave us a nice little bump in numbers for this week, and we'll continue to do that. It's been great to work with Stephanie Coots and some other people on the Lisa and Kelsey on the city team sharing images and information, and we are set for a great Memorial Day weekend. And there was a story this morning, hoteliers, that said it's still not too late to book a weekend getaway here in Jacksonville. So thanks to all of you, and Teresa will be back next time.
Gentlemen, if I could just follow up real quickly on the food trail conversation there. One of the things that we've learned over time is that moving forward, we may not just showcase the food. Mm-hmm. You know, the food is really great and interesting, but so are the people that serve the food. So as we continue to evolve the food trail, we want to tell more stories about the people who own the restaurants and who actually make the food, you know, the soul behind what you're going to eat. That's so great. So that's something that Susan and Heidi are working on, pulling all those stories together and showcasing the people, not just the food. And she is right. I saw the full video of that cocktail. It had a light in it, and it changed colors. I thought that was the most bizarre thing ever, but it's really neat, and I'm sure they enjoyed it. The last thing that Susan mentioned is that Stephanie is now assisting with some of our social media posting. So what you're going to see is you're going to see more frequent and more consistent posting. You know, not everything is going to be about bringing, people to Jacksonville and having them experience. It's going to be also about the locals' experience, right? And just keeping our name out, keeping our brand out there, and making sure that people know who we are and how great we are.
Very nice.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, thank you, Susan. Got distracted there a minute. Anyway, okay, well, that's very good. Well, I guess that brings us to our director comments. Anybody additional comments for today's meeting? I mean, it's been a good meeting, a lot of good stuff happening. I'm looking forward to next year. It's going to be good.
It's only an hour, too.
Oh, within an hour. That's perfect. That's right. Rotary. All right. Well, nothing else to do that, then we'll have the meeting adjourned. Thank you.